Students, very good morning to all. In the previous classes, we discussed about spatial domain filtering. There, we have seen how to carry out the smoothing operations and sharpening operations. Just try to recall, in case of spatial domain, we use averaging and order statistic filters for smoothing purpose. However, we have used the gradient and Laplacian operators for the purpose of sharpening. Okay. But similarly, in case of frequency domain, we use a different set of techniques. Actually, frequency domain filtering means here we are going to apply the image enhancement techniques after getting the Fourier transform of the image. Please try to understand, basically, image can be treated something like a discrete signal. It is a two-dimensional signal with some discrete values. Values, they are going to represent the intensity of the different pixels. Okay, that's why to perform frequency domain filtering operation, what we do is, first we are going to apply the Fourier transform on the image. Once we apply the Fourier transform, we are going to get the frequency content of that two-dimensional signal. Then later we can carry out the different image enhancement techniques. Okay, here we have the equation for obtaining Fourier transform of the image and also the inverse Fourier transform of the image. Probably in digital signal processing, you have studied how to get the DFT of a single dimensional signal and also the inverse discrete Fourier transform of the signal, right? But here only the difference is we have two-dimensional signal. Okay, so assume that f of xy, it is the input image, it is the actual image whose Fourier transform is required. Okay, and assume that the capital F of u comma v, it represents the Fourier transform of the input image f of x comma y. Here the idea is that we are assuming the image is something like a two-dimensional discrete signal, and first we obtain the Fourier transform of that image f of x comma y. Okay, here assume that the image is of size m comma n. It is m into n, where m is number of rows and n is number of columns. Its Fourier transform can be represented as f of u comma v. We use variables u and v to represent frequency domain information, x and y to represent spatial domain information, that is time domain signal, we can say. The equation is like this. It is 1 divided by m into n summation x varying from 0 to m minus 1, y from 0 to n minus 1, f of x comma y e raised to minus j2 pi in bracket ux divided by m plus by divided by n, where u value is varied from 0 to m minus 1 and b value is varied from 0 to n minus 1. So this equation is similar to that the equation which you have studied in digital signal processing, but only difference is there you have studied with respect to a single dimensional signal, but here we have two-dimensional signal. That's why we get two variables u and v and x and y for time domain signal. And here we have the equation for obtaining inverse Fourier transform of the signal or image, we can say, so that it can be represented as f of x comma y equal to, again, summation u varying from 0 to m minus 1, v varying from 0 to n minus 1, f of u comma v e raised to j2 pi in bracket ux divided by m plus vy divided by n. Students, what you do is just try to remember these equations. Okay, so that the first equation is for obtaining discrete Fourier transform of the input image, and the second equation is to obtain inverse discrete Fourier transform of the image. Okay. Okay, here we have the steps which are used for enhancement of the image in the frequency domain. However, in case of spatial domain, directly we are manipulating the pixels for enhancement. But here in case of frequency domain, it is not the case. We have to use a set of operations. We have to apply the operations in a particular sequence to enhance or for filtering of the image in the frequency domain. Here the method is like this. We have the block diagram. In the form of block diagram, we have represented the different steps which are used for image enhancement in the frequency domain. Okay, just go through this diagram. We have the image f of xy, which is an input image. Then first step is we perform pre-processing operation. Next, we apply the Fourier transform on the image. Then we use a filter function, h of u comma v. It's a transfer function of the filter. Then we carry out the image enhancement operation. Then we apply inverse Fourier transform. Then we perform post-processing operation. And finally, we are going to get g of xy, which is an enhanced image. Okay, we'll look at these steps one by one. The concept is like this. First, we have the input image f of x comma y. But try to recall f of x comma y. It is simply like a matrix, right? Image we are represented as a matrix, and the 0, 0 element or first row, first column element is like the origin of the image. But however, to adjust origin of the spatial domain image to the frequency domain, we carry out some of the operation which we call it as pre-processing. The idea is that we are going to multiply this f of x comma y into minus 1 raised to x plus y. Please try to understand. In the first step, what we do is we are going to multiply the input image f of x comma y by minus 1 raised to x plus y. This operation we call it as pre-processing operation. The purpose of performing this operation is to adjust the origin of the spatial domain image to the frequency domain. Okay, we'll discuss this part once again in the next slide. The next step, what we do is we carry out the Fourier transform of the input image. First, we did f of x y into minus 1 raised to x plus y. Whatever the result we get, on that result, we are going to apply the Fourier transform. So when we apply Fourier transform, assume that capital F of u comma b we are going to get. We are going to get f of u comma b. F of u comma b is the Fourier transform of the input image. Next, after that, we use some particular filters in the frequency domain. These filters, they can be represented by their transfer functions. Here we have the filter function. We have written it as filter function h of u comma b. So actually this h of u comma b, it represents the transfer function of the filter. Okay, now to carry out the filtering operation, we are going to multiply this f of u comma b with h of u comma b. So that here we get h of u comma b multiplied with f of u comma b. F of u comma b is Fourier transform of the input image. H of u comma b is the filter transfer function, right? Okay, can you think why we are multiplying h of u comma b with f of u comma b? Please recall, multiplication in frequency domain is as good as the convolution operation in time domain. Okay, so basically all the filters, they work on the concept of convolution operation. So here in the frequency domain, multiplication of two signals is as good as performing the convolution operation. So that we multiplied the filter transfer function h of u comma b with the Fourier transform of the input image f of u comma b. So here we get some of the output. Assume that this output is g of u comma v. What is g of u comma v? It is the result of h of u comma v into f of u comma v. Okay, after that we get some g of u comma v. Now this g of u comma v, it is in frequency domain, right? So however, to represent image back into the picture, we have to perform inverse Fourier transform. Because to make image visible, it must be represented in the form of pixel values. That's why again, to get back the spatial domain image, we are applying inverse Fourier transform. So here we get the inverse Fourier transform signal, and after that we perform post-processing operation. The post-processing operation is, again, whatever the result we get after this block, that result is multiplied by minus 1 raised to x plus y. So this process we call it as post-processing operation. So this post-processing operation is required to compensate the pre-processing operation we have applied at the beginning. Okay, and at the end we are going to get the enhanced image g of x comma y. So these are the 5 steps we require to apply to enhance the image in the frequency domain. I'm going to explain these steps. I'm going to summarize these steps once again. The first step is pre-processing operation. So in the pre-processing operation, the input image f of x comma y, it is multiplied by minus 1 raised to x plus y. The purpose of carrying out this operation is to adjust the origin of the spatial domain image into frequency domain. The second step is we apply Fourier transform on the f of x comma y, so that we get the result as f of u comma v. We can use the equation which we have seen here to obtain f of u comma v. Next, after obtaining f of u comma v, we multiply this f of u comma v with the transfer function of the filters. So the transfer function of the filter, we represent it as capital H of u comma v. We multiply f of u comma v with h of u comma v to obtain g of u comma v. So that this is as good as the convolution operation. Okay, multiplication in frequency domain is equivalent to convolution operation in time domain, right? Okay, after this part, we obtain the inverse Fourier transform, because we have carried out the filtering operation, but the result is in frequency domain. That frequency domain information cannot be displayed directly as the image. That's why to convert the signal back into the image, we apply inverse Fourier transform, so that we get again spatial domain image, right? And the last step is whatever the result we obtain from this block, it is again multiplied by minus 1 raised to x plus y to readjust the frequency domain image back into the spatial domain image. This particular operation we call it as post-processing. And finally we get the result g of x comma y, which is an enhanced image. Okay, in the next slides, we are going to study about the function h of u comma v. So h of u comma v is the transfer function of the filters. Again, in frequency domain, we have different filters. We are going to study the transfer function of the filters and how they behave. That is, we are going to study the characteristics of the different frequency domain filters. Okay. Okay, next, here we have frequency plane. Okay, till now we have seen image as a matrix, right? So image can be represented in the form of rows and columns. But once you convert image into frequency domain, you are going to get the frequency plane. So generally, the frequency plane can be represented like this. Just go through this. Here we have two variables, u and v. In case of time domain or spatial domain, the variables we have used were x and y. But here, instead of x and y in the frequency domain, we use the variables as u and v, right? And this is origin of the frequency plane, right? The origin of the frequency plane is this intersection point. But however, in the spatial domain, just try to recall, the origin of the image was lower left corner of the image, right? That's why to adjust the spatial domain image into frequency domain, we multiplied the input image with -1 raised to x plus y. Okay. So here, remember, in the frequency domain, we use variables u and v, and this is the origin of the frequency plane, right? Okay. Now one more thing. Always you remember at the origin we are going to have low frequency components, and as you move away from the origin, you are going to get high frequency components. At the origin you are going to have low frequency components, but as you move away from the origin, you are going to get high frequency components. Okay, now assume that you have any point on the circle. On the circle you have any point, say u comma v. Now, from this origin to the point u comma v, suppose if you want to calculate the distance between origin and any point on this circle, say u comma v, can be calculated as d of u comma v equal to square root of u square plus v square. Because basically it's a circle equation we are going to apply. We want to find out the distance between origin to any point u comma v. The distance we can represent it as capital D of u comma v, right? D of u comma v indicates the distance between origin to any point in the frequency plane, say u comma v, and it is given by square root of u square plus v square. Remember this equation, it is helpful in understanding the next topics. Okay, next we have frequency domain image smoothing filters. Okay, in the spatial domain we have studied how to carry out smoothing operation and the sharpening operation. And if you have remembered, smoothing means it is the process of blurring the image to remove some small objects. It is mainly used for filling up the gaps between the lines and the curves. Smoothing operation, it will fill up the small gaps in the image, right? However, the sharpening operation, it is used to highlight the edges of the image. To highlight the edges of the image, we make use of the sharpening operation. Okay, in the frequency domain, remember, we use low pass filters to carry out smoothing operation and high pass filters to carrying out sharpening operation. Remember, low pass filters, they are meant for smoothing of the image, and high pass filters, they are meant for sharpening of the image in the frequency domain. Okay, so first we are going to discuss about the frequency domain image smoothing filters. So smoothing filters means by default they are low pass filters, right? Okay, if you consider low pass filters, again here we have three low pass filters. One is the ideal low pass filter. I have written LPF. It stands for low pass filter. Okay. Then second one we have Butterworth filter, and the third one we have Gaussian filter. Okay. So that we have three low pass filters. They are ideal low pass filter, Butterworth low pass filter, and the Gaussian low pass filters. Okay, we'll study these filters one by one. First, we are going to start with ideal low pass filter. So ideal low pass filter, I can also represent it as ILPF. Okay, now let us see what is the transfer function of this ideal low pass filter. Okay, the transfer function can be written by using this plot. I think you have remembered how to plot the transfer function of low pass filter. Okay, so that this is the low pass filter we have. Just go through this. This is origin, and here we have D naught. So D naught indicates the cutoff frequency of the filter. Okay, D naught indicates the cutoff frequency of the filter. Okay, on the x-axis we have D of u comma b. Recall, D of u comma b is any point in the frequency plane at location u comma v, right? And on the y-axis we have written h of u comma v. So h of u comma v is the transfer function of the filter. So now this transfer function of the filter h of u comma v, I can define it by using this plot as it will be 1 if d of u comma v is less than or equal to d naught, where d naught is cutoff frequency of the low pass filter, and d of u comma v is the distance between origin to any point u comma v on the frequency plane, right? Similarly, h of u comma v, it must be 0 if d of u comma v is greater than d naught. So above d naught, the transfer function value will be 0. It will be 1 d of u comma v if it is less than or equal to d naught. So based on this plot, we have written the transfer function of the filter as h of u comma v equal to 1 if d of u comma v is less than or equal to d naught, and it is 0 if d of u comma v is greater than d naught. And one more thing, what is d of u comma v? How to calculate it is, it is simply the square root of u square plus b square. Okay, so this is about the plot and the transfer function. Okay, now if this plot, you just take the 3D view for a two-dimensional signal, it will look like this way. So this is the three-dimensional plot of this particular signal. Here it is like two-dimensional plot we have, and this is the three-dimensional signal we are going to get. So actually this is the transfer function of the filter. Okay, and we have this diagram. So actually this diagram indicates that wherever you have shaded portion, that part of the frequency components, they are not allowed, and wherever you have just light or gray color, only there the frequency components they are allowed by the filter. Okay, just try to recall, as I discussed, in the frequency plane at the origin you are going to have low frequency components. As you move away from the origin you are going to get high frequency components. So now this diagram indicates that from origin to up to this point, the signal is allowed, it is filtered, but above this D naught, wherever we have shown with black color, those signals or those components, they are attenuated or they are blocked. Okay, this is the meaning of this diagram. First diagram, simply it is the low pass filter transfer function with a two-dimensional signal. This is the second diagram. I can say it is 3D version of the first plot whatever we have seen, and this particular diagram, it indicates the conceptual view of the low pass filter. So it indicates that the white portion of this diagram, here for this part the signals are allowed, and outside this circle, the signal is blocked. So this is how we represent the ideal low pass filter. But remember, it is very difficult to design ideal low pass filters. And even if we have ideal low pass filter, we will get a sharp cutoff frequency. Due to this sharp cutoff frequency, there will be discontinuity of the signal, and that may lead sometimes to loss of information when you come to the real-time approach. In case of real-time applications, if you have ideal low-pass filters, it may lead to sharp discontinuity of the signal because of this sharp edge, right? That's why we'll go for the practical filters, Butterworth low-pass filters and Gaussian low-pass filters. Students, if you get the question on this topic, explain frequency domain image smoothing filters. We are supposed to explain these three filters: ideal low-pass filter, Butterworth low-pass filter, and Gaussian low-pass filters. But